Well, Russian President Putin warns that the Middle East is on the brink of disaster and World War III seems imminent. Speaking to reporters this morning at the BRIC summit in Russia, Putin talked about how Israel's war against Gaza and Lebanon and Iran must stop before it spirals out of control.
Hostilities that started a year ago in Gaza Strip now spilled over to Lebanon. Other countries of the region were also affected. The confrontation between Israel and Iran is also growing. It looks like a chain reaction, and it puts the entire Middle East on the brink of a disaster, and the humanitarian situation is also exacerbated. The displaced persons and refugees is more than 1 million people. The infrastructure and residential areas, hospitals, schools, social infrastructure were largely damaged.
He also said that an independent Palestinian state must be established and must peacefully coexist with Israel. Now, Putin was also asked about the relationships with a future Trump administration and developing good relationships. He said Russia is open to this, but the U.S. has to make the first move, both by voting him in and then Trump actually making the contact.
As to how Russia-U.S. elections, Russia-U.S. ties are going to develop going forward after the elections, this is an open question. We are open to, if the United States is open to building good relations with Russia, we will reciprocate. But the choice is up to the new American administration.
All right. Well, Trump's name came up again, responding to Democrats' fake news about Russia and Trump somehow colluding, even though that was disproven in previous elections. They have tried to warm that tea back up. Here's how President Putin called this nonsense.
As for your allegations about Donald Trump, this is something that we've heard for years. We've been blamed, and Trump himself has been blamed about some kind of connections, having some kind of connections with Russia. Then they've had investigations, including investigations in the United States, including in the Congress, and everyone now agrees that this is complete nonsense. There has never been any kind of ties or connections between myself and Mr. Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, no connections whatsoever. See if you're going to see that. But by the way, that coverage of BRICS on any of the mainstream media,
right.
You're not going to see it. I mean, but I think it was pretty telling to hear President Putin say the Middle East is on the brink of disaster. I mean, because they will support Iran. They're not going to allow Iran to be wiped off the face of the earth.
Clearly not.
Right. And China, I mean, also involved in this in a big, big way. And you have all of these Arab countries right now pouring money into Egyptian banks and other places like that. So this is imminent right now.
Well, a lot of politicians or analysts say that the Middle East considers themselves Western Asia. It's not a separate region. So this would be a war with a coalition of Asian countries with only Israel by themselves and the United States somehow reaching from across the pond to support. That's not possible. It's not possible to win a war like that. So don't let them sell you this war. One, because it's immoral, and two, because it would lead to millions of nonsensical deaths.
Exactly.